Hello, everybody. My name is Edward S. Redcar. And I'm the host of Edward S. Redcar's Entertainer Chat. And today, this is a special dedicated to a filmmaker among all other talents that he had, David Lynch, who recently passed away. And today I have a panel on my show, and we're all going to contribute to a discussion about David Lynch and his life and his work, his influence on other artists. So I'll start off by introducing my guest co-host, Andrew Vandelay. Andrew, give a little wave there to the crowd here. That's Andrew. Andrew Vandelay. He's from the Netherlands. He's a filmmaker, an actor, a film festival judge. In fact, this year for the Millesimo Cairo International Film Festival, of which one of my guests, Alberto Bellavia, is the director of. Next, we have Petra Chablis. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Petra Chablis?
Correctly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And, well, if you haven't already guessed, the woman that gave the thumbs up, that's Petra. And so she's a musician from the musical group Chablis. And I thank her very much for taking time out of her busy schedule to be on my talk show today. Also, we have Pim, and he is a musician, and uh, uh,
Also,
and also from Chablis.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, also from Chablis. So we have two representatives from Chablis, and that's our panel. That's our panel of guests today. So I want to welcome each of you to the show. So each individually, I'll say, Andrew, welcome to the show as my guest co-host again. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm looking forward for this special. I think it'll be something different than normal because it's someone who had so much influence on the movies, theater, art, meditation, music. So let's make it a wonderful tribute to this wonderful person.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you. Thank you. Very, very well put. Thank you very much, Andrew. And the second guest is Petra Chablis from the musical group Chablis. So, Petra, welcome to the show. And how are you doing today?
yes, I'm fine. We are organizing several things, a music festival on the 7th of March with all kinds of people, especially women in music. And we last Sunday we had a concert with Chablis, and that was very nice. So we are doing fine today.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
thank you.
Good. Good. Yes, it's good that you've been having much continued success with your musical group, and I wish you continued success in the future. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks to you for being here today, and Pim, also from the musical group Chablis. And Pim, may I have your last name?
My last name is Van Riesen.
Okay. So thank you for being on the show.
Usually I give people a bit of a hard time, so that's why I
Oh,
left it
okay.
out.
Well,
But
that's
it's not,
perfectly
it's not a
fine.
secret.
Okay. Well, my last name is Osredkar, and a lot of people don't exactly have an easy time with that either. So I know where you're coming from with last names. So
We're in the same club. That's nice to hear.
yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah.
Right.
So yes. So Pim, welcome to the show, and how are you doing today?
Well, I'm doing fairly well, just generally speaking.
Okay.
Better as said, we just had like a successful concert with Chablis.
Mhm.
I'm also doing some other musical stuff and I'm composing all the time. So
Okay.
life just goes on.
That's right. That's right. Nothing.
And well, yeah, when I heard that we were going to talk about, the passing of the great master,
Yes. Yes.
it's
Yes.
with mixed feelings, but I figured on the way to the call, like, we should
Yeah.
celebrate him. I think that's the
Yeah.
most important thing. It's a life worth celebrating.
And for a lot of people that might not be familiar with him, I think this is a good thing to do so that we can spread the word of what a great artist and human being he was to those who might not have known of him, or if they did know of him, did not know a lot about him. So, um, yeah, I
Yeah, I
think this,
think that's important as well because even if you just knew him casually just through the media, you might think like he turned into some grumpy boomer with opinionated and all that. But
yeah,
talk to people that actually worked with him, and they all love him to death.
yeah, oh yes, and appreciate him for the great artist and the great
Definitely.
right the great mind that he did have, being such an influence on so many people. So, yes, thank you very much for being on the
You're
show today,
welcome.
Pim. And my guest from Italy, Alberto Bellavia, and he is the director of the Millesimo Cairo International Film Festival. That this year, in its second year, this will be its second year. Now, two venues, both Millesimo and in Cairo, and he's a musician. He's a filmmaker, a film festival director. And Alberto, how are you doing today? And
Oh, thank you so
and
much.
welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and it's a great honor. It's a great pleasure to be here with you, two guys. Today, I'm promoting the festival. I manage everything with great help Andrew to organize the evening, to organize many things, and I'm promoting my first feature as a film director, The Shadow of the Giants. I'm promoted to something festival in Europe, and I'm awaiting the results for selection. Finger crossed, I hope. And I'm starting a new project in a original soundtrack for a new movie, the feature movie of Stefan Meyer. And also, I say with my students, piano students, is enough for today.
Well, I mean, you're doing plenty, so it's like you're all over the place in your films and your film festivals and your teaching, of which Andrew and I were privileged to witness a concert directed by you last year, when we were there for the first edition of the your film festival, and so yeah, that's another one of your many talents, being a great teacher and mentor to young students that want to go into the musical field. So, yes, yes, welcome to the show. And yeah, like I says, I'm happy to have all of you here. It's going to be a great discussion. So, just a little bit information to those of you in my audience that aren't familiar with David Lynch. Just a few quick points to become somewhat familiar with him before we delve into a little bit more detail about his life and his career. He was born on January 20th, 1946 in Missoula, Montana. And as we mentioned, he just recently passed away on January 15th at the age of 78. His spouse, Emily Stoffel, and uh, he uh, uh, he was married to her for quite a few years. He has children, Jennifer, Austin, Riley, and his parents, Donald Walton Lynch and Edwina Lynch. So that's a little bit look into the personal side of him. And he was a great musician, a great painter, a great director, a great actor. Uh, Academy Awards in the USA. That's just one of his many accomplishments. He was a 2002 Oscar nominee, besides that. So, um, with all that said, uh, now we can get a bit into the discussion about him. So, um, I thought that I would start out with a little bit about his life, like away from the camera, the stage, the film, or whatever. So it's like his life away from the camera. He was a big influence on many artists. So, um, he was into transcendental meditation. He was an artist, a painter. He was a musician. In fact, some of his compositions were in his own films from later on, and he absolutely loved Los Angeles. So, with those points out there on the table, um, I'll just leave it up to discussion. So, if anyone would want to take a turn at talking about his transcendental meditation interests, by all means, go ahead, Andrew, Pim, whoever wants to start first.
Yeah, I want to tell about Los Angeles. Like you say, he loved Los Angeles, but he also hated it because he saw also the downside of Los Angeles, the pain, poverty, the drugs that was used in the period. So it made a big influence for his movies, of course. You see, by example, Eraserhead was really took at place. It made no imagination for the viewer because you really saw what happens there. So it was a love and hate relationship with Los Angeles. When you also look, when he made Dune, that's the reason that he hated sometime also Hollywood because Dune was so commercial that the producers made him make something that he doesn't want to make. And that's so beautiful said Los Angeles was for him. He loved it, but he hated so much.
So, like,
You see that in Mulholland Drive too, I think. No, not in in Mulholland Drive you see that too, the love and hate. Both, I guess. Andrew, you can say something about that too.
It's also a nice example. You see always again the love and the hate for Los Angeles. And also, I forgot the name. Lost Highway, you also see it.
Yes.
Lost Highway, love and hate, Los Angeles. I always see the contradiction of Los Angeles, the poverty, the hate, the downside, the upside. It's so beautiful in art to make people think about it.
So, like with transcendental meditation, do you think that he got into that to sort of give himself like stability in his mind, in like in all of his creations, like his painting, his music, and then eventually into filmmaking, uh, to keep himself centered? If anybody would like to comment on that. Not to the point
Yeah.
maybe of like a religion, but something to keep his mind focused.
I think the meditation, I'm not sure of it. I think meditation was for him more an escape from downside of Los Angeles. To get an escape of all the bad things that happened at that period, like especially the 70s, 80s. There were a lot of problems in Los Angeles. There was a thing with prostitution, criminals. It was a very bad time.
Yeah.
I think meditation helped him to survive it also, the bad time in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We must be realistic. We see all things of Hollywood. We see all Oscars. We see the red carpet. We see the beautiful things on television. But the reality is different. And I think he wants to make that point too. And it waits for him, I think, so much that he needs escape. And that he think he did it by meditation.
Yeah. I think a lot of people think of Los Angeles like that, like a love-hate relationship, like they always call it the city of angels, it's like the possibility are like endless, whatever your goals are. It's like if you can dream it, it can become a reality. So yeah, I think a lot of people have that love-hate relationship, no matter what career they decide to go into, like entertainment, like we all are, or another type of professional business. aside, besides, become being professional entertainers like that. So, yeah, that's an interesting point, Andrew, to help him sort of deal with, say, like the chaos that can sometimes be prevalent in that city, and like a lot of times in other cities as well. Other cities around the world. So yeah, and not only was he involved in transcendental meditation, but like also his artwork, his paintings. He's um, absolutely magnificent painter, and when I look at like the many examples that he has of his paintings uh, online, it's like you can search endlessly for the artwork of David Lynch and just be amazed and in awe of what great talent and artist he was. Aside from the the other part of David Lynch that a lot of people are aware of, filmmaking, and not so much the side. So, does any one
Well, I
have
think
any
you sort of have to
ideas?
wonder that if you look at basically everything he did, take the meditation, take the paintings, take the music, take his filmmaking, combine that with what we were telling about Los Angeles being Los Angeles, and to me, and maybe to David Lynch, I never spoke to him, obviously. Los Angeles and movies in general are a bit of a facade that
Yeah.
try to portray something that's more beautiful than it actually is. And if I look at David Lynch's work, I see a man that was looking for something genuine, something
Hmm.
real.
Hmm. Hmm. Probably something to ground himself in, to kind of use a base to keep himself to keep himself grounded, so he could uh, like better concentrate on his goals and all of his other interests.
Yeah, but I also think just trying to show us a world that's beneath the surface, because that's what people usually do. They just look at the surface of things and they take it at face value. And I
Yeah,
think he tried to teach us. I think meditation is even helpful there to give you this awareness of there's more going on. There's always more going on.
right,
Things
right.
you maybe not, don't even understand.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And something like that, any one of us, it would probably take a whole lifetime to understand, right? I mean, probably none of us can understand everything about meditation, and maybe we could spend our whole lives concentrating and learning about that, but probably never scratch the surface, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
something like that, yeah, yeah. That reminds me, I mean, just like acting or any one of the performing arts, uh, concentrated on the performing arts part of it, even people in, business, with what they do versus what people see the end result can be two different things. Like, um, it's been thought of, say, to use performing for an example.
Uh-huh.
It can be thought of as like, like an iceberg, like in the ocean. Is like you see icebergs in the ocean, and it doesn't matter how high they might be, 100 meters, 200 meters, or whatever. But it's like there's a whole part of that iceberg that is way beneath the water that people
Hmm.
don't see. So uh, it's uh, entertainment's sort of been attributed to that. It's like people see maybe like 1% of like what all of us do, whether it's like Alberto with his piano compositions, musical compositions, or Pim and Petra, you with your musical abilities, your singing abilities, Andrew and I, with the acting, the filmmaking. It's like that's like only 1%, and it's like or maybe even 10%, but maybe the other 90% that you don't see, which is figuratively underwater, is like all the work that we do that allows you to see what we do, whether it's on film or on the stage, behind a piano, conducting an orchestra, singing, at the microphone on a stage. So,
Yeah, I think generally, I mean, everybody, no matter what kind of work you're in, you show the world like a curated piece of yourself, a curated piece of your work, and there's a lot more going on that people are generally not aware of.
oh yeah, yeah. Oh, definitely, definitely, definitely. Yeah, like I says, no matter if it's what discipline of entertainment or anything else that anybody else concentrates on in their lives with whatever they do. So, yeah, he definitely had a great influence on artwork, and yeah, not only that, but like music as well, influencing artists like David Bowie, Marilyn Manson, above, I mean, among every other, among others. So, if anybody wants to jump in and talk about his musical influences.
Yes, I can say something about it because actually the whole dream pop world is based on what David Lynch and Julie Cruz and especially Angelo Badalamenti did.
Mhm.
They started the whole dream pop genre. So and now there are many artists. For example, Beach House, a very popular band, great band. Also, they they even worked with Leland Palmer. What's his real name? I don't know, but the Twin Peaks actor who played Leland Palmer in Twin Peaks. They even worked with him on their video, on their music video.
Mhm.
And there are many bands now playing that kind of music, the dream pop music. And Angelo Badalamenti and Julie Cruz and David Lynch started this whole thing. So they even he and his pals even influenced the pop music world
Mhm.
nowadays also. Yeah, so that's a great thing also.
Yeah, yeah. And
Perhaps somebody has to comment on.
oh yeah, anybody else want to jump in and with a few comments about it, or Alberto, Pim, or Andrew, if you got anything to say? Don't be shy. Jump right in. Jump.
Uh,
Alberto.
Alberto, what is
Yeah.
Alberto,
your
yes,
answer about this?
Alberto. Come on.
I think that about the music, the influence of Angelo Badalamenti was great because in Twin Peaks, for example, was an incredible quality of mood. Because I remember that was jazz music in some Shin, because I remember some Shin that Angelo Badalamenti used music like noir with jazz drums, saxophone, and electric guitar. I remember that chant because I didn't never see again because when I see the first time Twin Peaks, I was 14, 15 years older. Now I'm 48, and I remember that I'm talking about with my friends. Hey guys, did you see yesterday evening Twin Peaks? Oh yes, it's so scary, so scary. But what's happening? Who killed Laura Palmer? I don't know, and a lot of mystery. I remember a lot of mystery, but I remember that for all my life I stay scared and with a lot of fear when I remember Twin Peaks. It's not possible for me to see again because too much deep, too much strong for me.
Uh,
I'm see many scary movie, like for example, The Exorcist, or
Oh, yes. Especially the part in The Exorcist where the girl's head turns 360 degrees on her neck. That was, whoa. I was just a young kid when that came out.
Like an owl.
Right? Yeah. Ow. How can you do
Yeah.
not hurting yourself, you know? But no,
when
yeah. No, that's a good point, Alberto, about,
you think,
his influences with that the horror genre. Yeah.
yeah, I think in the music in Twin Peaks is so different because is like is not scary music, but it's so very with a lot of major chords, a lot of contrast, a big contrast.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When you listen the main theme, you listen something like an angel, okay? And when you see the intro, when you listen the music, you thinking, oh, is there a very nice place, Twin Peaks?
Mhm.
But there is something evil.
Lurking in the shadows, right? Something just over your shoulder, right?
There's something really eerie about the music, and I
Contrast,
think what makes it brilliant is the use of space. There's
yes,
not a
yes.
lot going on, just a couple of chords, just the bass guitar playing.
And the
Um,
theme,
it's all atmosphere.
yeah, a lot of atmosphere. And I remember the scene with the midget dancing, so scary for me, and music as a jazz drums, okay, and this midget talking, you don't see nothing,
Hmm.
no monster, no exorcist, no devil, nothing.
Hmm.
This is a genius.
Uh-huh. But
Okay?
just the fact that they put those thoughts in our heads, even though they did not show anything, that's genius. Just to put those thoughts that would compel us to keep watching, or like you were saying, Alberto, you saw it once, I don't want to see it again because it's so scary. Like you said, so scary.
Music, I would like to listen an example. The main theme has only three chords.
Oh, really? Okay.
The first section only two chords: F major, and D minor, and stop. And the music you can listen to is F major, D minor, like a romantic story, like a romantic movie. Is a romantic movie? No. Arrive at B flat major with an A natural, not A flat, at an A natural, a 4 sharp. And returning in the eighth measure is very simple. It's incredible when you see the first time the Twin Peaks. You can see probably is a love story, probably, okay, and I love this contrast.
Uh-huh.
And when I listen to this, I feel so scary.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Probably I don't know if I'm able to see one more time Twin Peaks.
yeah. I was just going to say that the different chords that you played when you started out, uh, it gave me sort of a pleasant feeling, but then when you played that other chord, it's like there was a feeling that I got of like unrest. It started out friendly, but then I got the impression, well, maybe things aren't so good now because of this other chord that they introduced. So I think that put a lot of suspense in people just listening to the music, right? I mean, even before they saw the story after like the intro, right? They felt uneasy to begin with.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's amazing how different chords can like evoke different types of feelings there, uh, especially like when they're played like one after the other. It starts friendly, but then there's that hint of uncertainty of what's about to come. So yeah, he definitely had a great influence and um, all over the spectrum. I mean, not and just concentrating on one type of music, but like all types of music, all types of genres of music was, yeah, truly the genius.
Yeah, I think that Badalamenti really got down the principle of less is more.
Mm,
I
Yeah,
mean,
that,
if you look at those chords, if you take an A minor and an F major, it's already just one note changes. If you have an A minor and you go to an F major, then you just switch out an E for an F, and the
uh-huh,
rest of the chord is still there.
uh-huh,
Then you go to D minor, and again you just switch a C for a D.
uh-huh.
Minimal movements, almost nothing happens, but the atmosphere
yes.
still
Yes,
changes.
exactly, exactly. It puts that bit of uncertain atmosphere, right, Pim? Just
Yeah,
just changing it just that little bit like that. Yeah.
and I think that's one of the things that makes well David a great filmmaker as well is that there is like this nothing is actually scary. He just gets to you with making things slightly unsettling.
Yes.
And slightly unsettling can be really scary.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Were you going to say something there, Petra?
Yeah, what's your favorite song of Badalamenti? Because mine, I can tell you, my favorite song of Angelo Badalamenti on his Twin Peaks series is "The World Spins."
Hmm?
It's even on my funeral list, actually,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and it's the best funeral song. Well, not the best, but one of the best funeral songs ever made. I think. It's such a it's also a song with an uh, quite simple a 6/8 rhythm, and it's a song quite romantic, a love song. Actually, it on the surface it looks like just a kind of a love ballad, but there's something underneath too, and it's so beautiful. It's so simple but so fantastically composed. So I would recommend everybody who watches this show listen to "The World Spins" on the Julie Cruz album, and it's the moment that one of the important characters are being killed. I won't spoil anything for people who didn't watch
Okay.
the
I,
Yeah.
I
series
think
yet,
I
but
think it's
it's
actually
an
interesting.
important moment.
Very interesting that that one track is actually not on the soundtrack album. I wonder why.
Hmm. Uh,
I have two albums. There's the soundtrack album, and there was also the Julie Cruz album. And
Yeah,
the show, I just watched it with my
yeah,
son
I know the track,
last
but
week
I just looked
again.
at the original soundtrack CD, and I didn't choose to put it
Ah,
on there for some reason.
strange,
But it's a
because it's
great
an
track.
important moment. It's the
oh,
"it's happening again" moment
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
giant, and then she's singing "The World Spins" on the stage, and you see actually Julie Cruz there also
yeah.
herself. She
Mhm.
also died, by the way, a few years ago. Um,
I
yeah,
think
it's
it's actually
strange. Yeah,
interesting to just stand still, just thinking about the influence of Julie Cruz on that soundtrack as a whole. Anyway, I think her
yeah,
voice was really on the point for this series.
Yeah.
yes. And right now there are so many singers who are doing this now. She's an example for so many singers who are doing dream pop at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
So she's she influenced many people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's all it takes is like for one artist to discover something or to rediscover something and yeah, it just uh like to use a social media term, it just goes viral. People uh either they're not familiar with it or slightly familiar with it, and that introduction of that reminds me of, how great of like a piece or whatever it can be. And yeah, the interest of it can just keep multiplying. And um, it always amazed me, like with the music of David Lynch, like when I was first introducing the subject here, that, mentioned that a lot of his music, his own music, he used into his own films, and I thought that was quite remarkable because it's like he had this great reservoir of like musical emotions to pick with, and if he decided to do a type of film on a particular subject, he could always like reach into his bag of musical compositions and find like just the one uh, without having to explain what he wanted to someone else, right? Do you think maybe that was part of his um, say decision making for a movie, that he already had that music at his disposal instead of having to go through um, say the ordeal, if you want to put it that way, of finding someone to compose it for him? If anybody wants to jump in and add to that.
Well, I think he did both things, right? He wrote for himself, but he also wasn't hesitant to get people on board and do things for him,
Mhm.
as long as there were people that he could communicate with on a level that they could work together.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think that Badalamenti, for instance, I think him and David Lynch that they understood each other at a very essential level.
Yeah, no,
I think I saw an interview with Badalamenti once where he kind of explained for how the whole process went, and then basically just sat there behind his Rhodes piano,
uh-huh.
and David Lynch would make a suggestion, and then it just jot out a couple of chords, and then they come, yeah, that's it.
So
So he wasn't like one of those artists that wants to have his hand in everything
yeah,
just for the sake of ego.
yes,
There was
yes.
a story he wanted to tell, and if someone could help him to tell that story, he wouldn't mind. I don't think so.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
But you know, uh,
He
if he
did,
already knew what he wanted and he already had it,
right,
then he wouldn't hesitate to use that.
right. He did what he did, whether it was music or painting or filmmaking, just for the love of it, right, Pim? Just for the
Yeah,
love.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more or less like he was enjoying the journey and not focusing like on the end result. He was just enjoying everything that happened along the way, right? Just
Yeah.
taking
Also,
it.
I don't think that he was out to get people to be in awe of the great David Lynch.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, we are obviously because he was a great man,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
don't think
yeah,
that was his motivation to make people love David Lynch. He just wanted to tell a story and
yeah,
bring it to people.
yeah. And I think throughout everything that he did, whether it's filmmaking, music, artistry, to me, it just seems like he wanted to bring joy to people, right? You just,
I think one of the things I most enjoyed of him was a couple of years back. For a while, he did daily weather reports.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
remember
Well,
that.
I
It was so wonderful.
think until a few months ago,
Yeah,
he
it was
did
just
it.
so.
Yeah. Every day. It was fantastic. Yeah.
But
so,
Yeah. It
I think also that he was also a very difficult person person to understand, and I have a beautiful example of it. Anthony Hopkins didn't speak to David Lynch for more than 30 years because he could understand his role in the movie Elephant Man and the things he did. But after 30 years, he said, "Sorry, now I understand you." And I think it's also very difficult to understand David Lynch. Especially
Wow.
when you're Anthony Hopkins, one, I don't understand you. 30 years, I don't understand you. And then suddenly, now I
Now I
understand you.
understand you. Then the light bulb went off, right, Andrew? That's when the light bulb, like they say, oh, that was his aha moment. Aha, that's what this was all about,
He
right?
won the Oscar for it, but I don't understand why he did it. I hate this role.
I think even that he didn't do on purpose. He wasn't out there like, today's Monday, I'm going to confuse people.
No, not at all.
I think,
Yeah.
deep down, David Lynch was convinced he was just a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
he
he
was.
was just a guy. I have a beautiful example. I think he's just a guy. During the COVID period, everybody was home. I was a lot of home. He was a lot of home, and I had the opportunity to follow online. It was online a master class of David Lynch.
Oh,
Okay,
great.
there were thousand people online watching it. He was just talking, but he stayed himself. He was just talking like we are talking now, just normal. And that made him so beautiful. He stayed normal. Was just one of the guys. And I think that's made his person much bigger than the other ones. And when you see a few years ago, he got the Oscar for Lifetime Achievement. That's the biggest respect that you can get
Right.
from other actors, colleagues, directors, movie makers. So I think that's a very beautiful example. He stayed himself, he was himself, but everyone had so much respect for it.
Yeah.
Even Anthony Hopkins, after 30 years, he understood it.
Well, it could be at the time when Anthony Hopkins didn't understand it. It could be that David Lynch was like ahead of his time. He could see how good it was when other people at the moment couldn't. So it's almost like he could like see into the future and kind of forecast, yes, this is a good role. You might not understand what your character is now, what you're doing, what the motivation is, but give it 30 years, you'll understand it just like I do today. Only I'm 30 years ahead of you, right? Something like that. Yeah.
They are sleeping with one eye closed in the woods where we live in our minds. Lands naturally in our town because it's a soul, it's not real. We all live in the show. Our lives seem panorama here with adventures and good vibes and a blurred atmosphere. No daily mass, the waterfall keeps flowing. A village and a mill, and my friends, they all live in this town. And in the night we meet, but the daytime the sun is so dull, and the wind in the woods swings the branches back. Coffee black with some cherry pie and the fruits, call it just like the sky. Our lives seem panorama real hell, with adventures and good vibes and a blurred atmosphere.